Rimuru, the New Beginning as Primordial Demon Violet by Veldanava God. Chapter 2. The rise of the Infernal Queens. A century had passed since Violet and John had begun their relentless sparring matches in the depths of the infernal plane. What had started as brutal battles and sadistic games had slowly evolved into a mutual respect, an odd friendship built on blood and torment. The two primordial demons, now closer than any others, had grown stronger together, refining their skills through constant combat. They had conquered their corner of hell, but it wasn't enough. One day, as they sat upon a ridge overlooking the endless burning lands, John glanced at Violet, her golden eyes filled with thought. "We've been doing this for 100 years, Violet. Don't you think it's time we did something bigger?" Violet stretched her arms lazily, a sinister smile on her lips as she turned toward John. "Oh, and what did you have in mind, John? A bigger challenge? More fun?" John nodded, smirking. "Exactly. We've fought each other over and over. Sure, it's been fun, but the Inferno is vast, and there are 5 other primordials out there. Why not go after them?" Violet's eyes gleamed with excitement at the thought. "You're thinking we hunt them down? Take their heads as trophies?" She chuckled darkly. "I like it. It's about time we made a name for ourselves as the rulers of this place." John leaned back against the rocks, her smirk never fading. "Not just rulers, Violet. Queens. The queens of hell, together." Violet's grin grew wider. "Now that's a title I can get behind. And where better to start than with the weakest of them? Blue and Vert. They won't stand a chance." Their search for the 2 primordials didn't take long. After all, in the grand scheme of the demonic hierarchy, Blue and Vert had always been at the bottom, fierce and dangerous, of course, but nothing compared to the brutal force of Violet and John. It was in a charred wasteland, the sky torn with blackened clouds and the ground cracked from heat, that they found their quarry. Blue, the primordial blue demon, stood alongside her sister, Vert, the primordial green demon. Both were wary the moment they spotted Violet and John approaching. "This isn't good," Blue muttered under her breath, her sharp, icy gaze darting between the 2 approaching demons. "They've been on the warpath for centuries, John and Violet. I've heard the stories." Vert, the more cautious of the 2, stepped back slightly. "We should leave. There's no point in engaging them. We're not like them. We don't thrive on constant fighting." But Violet, catching their whispered conversation, laughed loudly, her voice echoing across the wasteland. "Oh, leaving already? Come on, Blue, Vert, don't be cowards. We've come all this way just for you." John crossed her arms, her posture relaxed, but her tone was dripping with condescension. "Running away? That's pathetic. I thought the primordials were supposed to be proud." She tilted her head, her eyes glowing with amusement. "But I guess I was wrong. You're nothing but weaklings hiding behind your reputation." Blue's icy glare hardened. "We don't have to fight you. This is pointless." Violet's smile only widened. "Pointless? Oh no, it's going to be so much fun." Her voice dropped into a dark, teasing tone. "Unless, of course, you're scared." Vert's eyes narrowed, but there was hesitation in her stance. "We're not scared, Violet. We just don't see the point in battling senselessly." "Senselessly?" John repeated with a chuckle. "Oh, you'll find that this isn't senseless at all. We're going to prove our dominance here today, and you'll either fight or fall like the weaklings you are." The taunt hit its mark. Blue's pride flared, and despite Vert's more cautious nature, she could no longer stand being mocked. "Fine," Blue snapped, stepping forward and summoning a swirling vortex of freezing energy. "If it's a fight you want, then we'll give you one." The battle began swiftly. Blue launched waves of icy blasts toward Violet, the cold threatening to freeze even the air around them. Vert summoned thick vines of energy, green tendrils that shot toward John with deadly precision. But John and Violet had fought countless battles over the years, their coordination seamless. Violet danced through Blue's attacks, her body twisting and dodging each blast with ease, her violet flames clashing against the ice. "Is that all you've got, Blue? I expected more from one of the primordials." Her taunting laughter echoed through the battlefield as she closed the distance between them. John, meanwhile, toyed with Vert, her golden energy slicing through the air, shattering the vines as they came toward her. "Come on, Vert. Is this really all you can muster?" John grinned, sending a powerful energy blast toward Vert, who barely managed to dodge. For hours, they fought, but the outcome was never in doubt. Violet and John were far too powerful, their battle-hardened skills honed through centuries of combat. Eventually, Blue and Vert began to falter, their energy reserves depleting. Violet, sensing their weakness, seized her opportunity. With a wicked smile, she surged forward, her flames consuming Blue's defenses and knocking her to the ground. Looks like the fun's over, Blue. John, having incapacitated Vert, joined Violet, standing over the two fallen primordials. Well, that was disappointingly easy, John said, her tone mocking. I expected more of a challenge. Blue groaned, trying to push herself up, but Violet planted her foot on Blue's back, forcing her down again. Don't bother, Blue. You're done. Now. She leaned down, her voice dripping with malice. How about a little torture to wrap this up, just like old times? Blue's eyes widened in fear, but before she could protest, Violet's venomous flames began to seep into her body, igniting every nerve with unbearable pain. Blue screamed, the sound echoing across the desolate wasteland. Vert, still conscious but too weak to move, could only watch in horror as John smirked at her. Don't worry, Vert. You're next. For a week, the wasteland was filled with the tortured cries of Blue and Vert. Violet took her time, relishing every moment of their suffering, while John watched with an amused smile. You always were the cruel one, Violet, John remarked on the 5th day, watching as Violet injected another wave of venom into Blue. And that's why you love me, Violet replied with a grin. Besides, they deserve it for thinking they could run from us. On the 7th day, Violet stood over the broken forms of Blue and Vert, her flames flickering around her. It's time to end this, she said, a sinister smile on her lips. You've had your fun, but now it's time for you to disappear. John nodded in agreement. They'll be back in 100 years, anyway. It's not like we're killing them for good. With a final burst of power, Violet and John unleashed their full strength, vaporizing Blue and Vert's bodies in an instant. The battle was over, and they had won. As the ashes of Blue and Vert scattered in the wind, Violet turned to John, her grin widening. Well, that was fun. John smirked, crossing her arms. Not bad. But this is just the beginning, Violet. There are still 3 more primordials left. Violet's eyes gleamed with excitement. And we'll hunt them all down. One by one. Until the infernal plane is ours. Together, Violet and John stood side by side, the queens of hell, ready to conquer whatever lay ahead.